Well, a relatively stress-free game for your Tampa Bay Rays. That's a relief and nice to see every once in a while.
It had been a minute since the Rays had a anxiety less W, and it's always good to sweep Boston, even if they are not a good team. That doesn't matter. It always feels good. So let's talk about that right now.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, my name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano.
And we're the host of the Locked On Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for making us your very first listen every day. Be sure to check out and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Locked On Rays. You can also find us on the social medias and email us anytime with a mailbag question and or voice memo, lockedonrays@gmail.com. Well, the Tampa Bay Rays take down and sweep the Boston Red Sox in a 2-gamer by a score of 5-0 at Fenway Park. The Rays improved to 97-62. So there still is that chance of getting to magic number 100. It's going to take some work, though, in the final series of the regular season. Boston falls to 76-82. And like we mentioned in the opener there, relatively stress-free, cool, calm, collected victory, solid confidence-building outing from Tyler Glasnow and bullpen. And I know it wasn't the A-plus lineup that was put forth, but they still did enough to put hits on the board and put runs on the board and impress in multiple ways and facets. We saw home runs, we saw base hits, we saw infield hits, we saw walks, we saw finding ways to manufacture and create runs and create a buffer between the Rays and the Red Sox to get the victory.
Yeah, they did. They did everything they had to do. I understand that the lineup is not the one that you're going to possibly see, hopefully not see during the playoffs, because there's very big names missing out there. But we did see this guy. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see it. Got to see Randy, and that was nice.
Yes, it was good to see Randy, though he wasn't the star of the show. It was more so Josh Lowe and Isaac Paredes offensively.
Yeah, definitely. But, getting those names back in the lineup, that breeds confidence. And so that's good for not only the fan base, but also for the clubhouse. But you're right. It was Josh Lowe going 3 for 3. What an amazing night for that guy. And he becomes another member of that Randy club.
Yeah, the 2030, which is a very impressive feat for as young and as green as he is. And I know I mentioned on yesterday's episode who could be next in line of being a 30-homer type guy. And what we saw from Josh Lowe in the power department last night, just taking a fastball middle in with an inside-out swing, deep center, straightaway center for a home run. Such easy power.
Yeah.
Compact, three-quarter swing, no wasted movement, gets the bat head through the zone, it stays through the zone, and he makes really good contact. And then we saw the versatility and the expressiveness of his offensive capabilities by, hey, you got a off-speed or breaking pitch away, I'm just going to punch it out away. Hey, I've got another pitch that I can do something with, I'll just hit a dribbler up the middle in between the second baseman and the shortstop for another hit.
Yeah, and he had an error on the field on Tuesday night's game where he just dropped the ball going into the foul territory, and so the runner got to go to second. But I would rather, that's what I'm saying when we talk about who would you rather have in the lineup. If I'm gonna have errors on the field that happen, okay, as long as the guy's going to give me production like Josh Lowe is. Right. I don't care about the field, the errors on the field. It just sucks when errors on the field happen and you can't back it up with the plate, but he can definitely back it up at the plate. And he showed yesterday why we were also gung-ho on his debut last year. Didn't really work out that way, but his first full season, he's he's exceeded expectations, I think, on what people thought that he could do on a first full season as a rookie.
Yeah, I was not expecting this. In fact, this was probably, and maybe it is, we don't know. We can't predict the future. Maybe this is his top end season. I think there's more in the tank for him going forward. But if you were to say this season, the line that he put forth this year, that's the best you're going to get for Josh Lowe, that's pretty dang solid.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if the peak career is like this, that's pretty impressive. But obviously, you have more hope as a young guy that he can improve upon that. And if he can, my goodness, we have a corner outfielder, backup center fielder for the next 5 years.
Yeah, that's really a guy that you can create and add to what you hope is a really, really good core group of position players coming down the pipeline. Again, I think that the Rays have really focused their efforts and attention to acquiring hitting talent through the draft or other means and mechanisms. And I think we're finally, over the next couple of years, and we've started to see it for a little bit, you're going to see some powerhouse lineups and some powerhouse offenses from this organization going forward. Speaking of that, Isaac Paredes, he doesn't need 30 home runs. He needs 31 home runs. Seeing that shot go beyond the green monster, it's always lovely to see that when the opposition does that in Fenway Park.
Yeah, and can't see him. 97 RBI, so he's 3 away from being in that 30 home run, 100 RBI club, which is pretty cool.
This final series is about getting numbers.
Yes.
Get to 100 RBIs. I'm sure there's a couple other players out there that want to get to some certain statistical feats. So this is an opportunity. This is a prime time to do that.
Luke was so close to being a 20 homer guy. It's a shame.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shame. He won't be able to get that round number. But yeah, Isak, he can get to 100. Josh Lowe just got to the 20 homer mark. That's pretty cool. Isak, man, he is just so impressive. I don't know what else to say about him. I mean, his defense, everywhere is solid. He's just like a solid ball player. You can plug him in at third, second, first. He has had a couple games at short. 30 homer power from a guy who's not even 25. He just turned 24. So
yeah,
you should be so excited about Isaac Paredes. And I do think, like I said last time, he is a prime candidate for that Rays type deal of, hey, stick with us for the next 4 to 6 years.
Yeah, we'll have to see what he and his agent are willing to take. I wouldn't blame him after the year he's had if he says, no, I want to hold out for more. But certainly having some millions of dollars guaranteed can be a convincer as well. We have more to discuss, but first, Ulises, we have to tell the audience about something really important.
Yes. Imagine if there was a ticketing app that you could have complete peace of mind when you purchase a ticket to a concert or a theater or a game. Wait, that actually does exist. And it's called Game Time, where you can see the view of the seat that you're purchasing through the app. All in prices show your total upfront, so you know that there's no hidden fees and you can buy the tickets in seconds with 2 taps. So today, take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB, LOCKEDON MLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON MLB, Locked On MLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.
We also forgot to note that the Rays did have the postseason celebration yesterday evening. Music was blaring, bottles were popping, hopefully not for Junior Caminero. And then cigars were being lit up and smoked by notably Pete Fairbanks, among others. So that's always a fun moment to see. Again, let's hope the Rays can make it a little bit further into the postseason this year compared to a couple of the previous iterations. Let's get out of the wild card. Let's get out of the divisional series. Let's have more of that 2020 magic if we can.
It'd be nice to not just have one celebration. Like, It's great to have a celebration. Don't get me wrong. I am not looking forward to be a Rockies fan.
Athletics, Royals.
Insert bad team name. Yes.
Yeah.
Don't want to do that. But there's also, who are you as an organization? What are your standards? And Neander has said this. Stu has said this. And Kevin Cash has said this. We are expecting more than just getting into the playoffs. So I feel completely okay with saying I want more than getting into the playoffs. If the top brass is saying they want more, I want more.
Yeah.
I definitely want more. So yeah, great to have them celebrate. You mentioned Junior Caminero. I did see his live where he was actually being doused with orange juice.
There we go.
So I thought that was a pretty nice
sparkling grape juice, something along those lines. Yeah, orange juice fits. Hope it was Tropicana brand.
I'm sure that there was other things involved, and that's
Yeah, and I'm also sure that there's got to be somebody out there, some Karen out there that's like, why are they promoting alcohol usage and tobacco usage? There's got to be one. Yeah. There's got to be one.
There's
if you
always
check
one.
The X and Instagrams and Facebook and all that. Speaking of celebrations, I heard a rumor, unsubstantiated, that Brian Auld, Stu Sternberg, Matt Silverman in the Rays top brass also had a similar celebration after the St. Pete Stadium announcement was put forward. And of course they were celebrating the fact that, oh my gosh, we're having local and city and county government giving us $600 million. Oh my gosh. And they're giving us a huge pie of the redevelopment. Let's go crazy. They were smoking Cohibas and drinking Don Julio.
That party was way more lit than what you saw yesterday.
But the dance moves weren't as good. The accoutrements were way more lit, but
yes,
the nerdy white guys, listening to, I don't know, Bon Iver or something.
I was gonna go old timey. I was gonna go ABBA. Maybe
yeah, ABBA would work.
ABBA. Yeah.
Bruce Springsteen.
Barry White.
Yeah, you get the idea.
Yeah.
Change it up with Bob Dylan, maybe. I don't know. All right. So there's that out of the way. I'm sure we'll get a comment or two based off of that. But Argenis Rashad, we will be doing more of a full-fledged mailbag for Friday's episode, but wanted to sneak this in.
You mentioned something a couple months ago. I was like, oh, Josh Lowe, he was in his downturn. I said, look, if this guy is this type of player, we just have a Cole Tucker on our hands. And you put a stop to me. You were like, yeah, easy. Come on, Cole Tucker. And you were right. Cole Tucker, come on. It's one of the really good premier baseball players out there. After seeing a whole season, and we talking about that, hey, maybe this couldn't be his peak. Maybe he could kind of sustain this. Is that a guy that you can see follow in his footsteps?
That's a guy that you can aspire to. I really like that comparison between Kyle Tucker and Josh Lowe. Kyle, of course, being a Tampa kid and went to play in high school and all that, but similar build, similar position. I mean, the profile fits out. I guess the only thing is really right from Jump Street with Kyle Tucker after having, his first couple taste of Major League Baseball, his first full season in 2021, where he played 140 games, he hit 30 homers right out of the bat. So we would just have to see if the power can be built on, because with Tucker, who has really cemented himself, and I still think is kind of slightly underrated, you can basically pencil in and year out that he's going to get you 30 and drive in 100 to 110 RBIs and give you other good accompanying numbers as well. I guess if there's one minor difference, at least one minor difference between Tucker and Lowe, it's that Tucker does not strike out quite as much as Josh Lowe. So that's something to watch out for going forward too.
And the power speed combination is there for both players, but maybe Kyle has a little bit more of the power, less of that speed, and then Josh has a little bit more of that speed than Kyle has power, than Kyle has.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay. I just thought I would bring that up. And also, before Argenis, Glass tunes it up just like Eflin. 5 innings, around 70 pitches. Kid, get out. We're good. You just have to kind of, it's a tune-up. It's tune-up season SZN.
There we go. So are you still going with your hypothesis that Eflin gets the game 1 nod for the wild card and Glass now gets game 2?
I think the Rays have always worked on performance. You can see that with the opening day. When Shields, it was between Shields and Price, they went with Price. When Shields dominated 2011, guess what? Price, you're taking a back seat. He had a better season than you. We give Shields the 2012 opening day. You win the Cy Young 2013. Hey, here you go. Price. Here, it's the same. It's been on and on and on with opening day starts where you get that as a price for having had a good performance. So I think they would do the same thing with the playoff rotation. Zach Eflin has been the best Rays pitcher this year, like punto, like he has.
Yeah, and he's earned it. I mean,
he's earned it.
As much as, look, Glass now has better stuff, and it's more eye-opening and eye-popping, and wow, you can really make a statement start if he has a good outing. Eflin's been Mr. Cool. He's made, 31 starts this year? He's always been there. He's always been available. He's always been consistent. He's always been reliable, and I can't think of many starts where it was his fault that the Rays lost that game or weren't in the game. Like he's held his own every single shot and chance. And I think that breeds some confidence going to the playoffs of we know what we're going to get more or less from Zach Eflin in game number 1, where Tyler Glasnow over the last several starts has been a wild card and he's struggled against potential postseason opponents.
Yeah. Twins, Orioles, and Jays. Those were his last three bad starts. He comes back nicely with the Red Sox, but it's the Red Sox. So no, you have to start on a good note. So you give your best one. Zach Eflin, here we go. After that, you can play it off, but I feel like that gives the Rays the best chance to do something really positive. And it's
not like a slight towards Tyler Glasnow. It's not like he doesn't have the cachet of Justin Verlander or Max Scherzer where, no matter the year you're having, you really have to mark them in as the number 1. I mean, Tyler Glasnow just hasn't stayed on the field long enough and consistently to earn that right. Maybe next year where he's the $25 million man, that's a different conversation. But as of right now, I just don't know if it's the time or the place. So, So before we get to this mailbag question, because we went on a little bit of a diatribe, which is okay. That's part of the nature of this program at times. Before we get to this mailbag question from Argenis, we do want to mention this. Be sure to snap into action this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. So if you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is super easy to use, and there's a wide range of betting options such as spreads, player props, over-unders, and beyond. So this is what you need to do. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon, LOCKEDON, to kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, they are an official partner of the NFL. Okay, getting to this mailbag question from our buddy Argenis. He says, what's up, guys? I read these questions in a Mark Topkin article, and I'd like to know your all's thoughts. Which team is most likely to face the Rays in the wild card series? Astros, Blue Jays, Mariners, or Rangers? And which of the 4 should they want to play the most and the least? Keep up the great job, Rays up.
Oh, that's a loaded question, Argenis. Thank you for writing to us.
It's a lot of questions in a short email, which we appreciate. It's a whole mailbag episode, basically.
Yeah. Okay. So quickly, the Astros will be playing the Diamondbacks this weekend, so Friday through Sunday.
Okay.
So I would give advantage Astros in that series, but again, you never know. But I would give the Astros the edge there. The Mariners will be playing the Texas Rangers this series, and then obviously the Rays will be facing the Blue Jays. So those are the three teams that he's talking about right now. If the season were to end, the Rays would be playing the Blue Jays because they're above the Houston Astros by half a game. So. And then Houston would play the AL Central Division winner in the Minnesota Twins. The Seattle Mariners right now are currently out by a game and a half. It's a whole lot of math you want us to do, Argenis, for a segment. But if I have to answer it, I would go with, well, how are the Rays going to do against Toronto? If the Rays win against Toronto and Houston beats the Diamondbacks, then you could possibly see a Rays Astros.
I guess maybe more of the larger point I was thinking about was who would you maybe most/least want to face in that first matchup?
I would rather face the Blue Jays than face the Astros.
Okay. Now, but out of all four of those teams, Astros, Blue Jays, Mariners, Rangers.
I think I'd still pick the Astros.
As you'd most want to face the Astros.
Least
want to face the Astros.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
It's just they have an aura. Like you can't say that they don't. Like 6 straight ALCS, that means something. If we're saying as Rays fans, oh, Orioles, they're young, they don't know what they're going to do in the playoffs because the Rays have been there, done that. And I do think that there is a hierarchy to that. I think there is a level of experience. A level of experience of like 5 World Series, 6 ALCS is like, that is a lot. That's a lot of experience there. So I would still put them over the Rangers, who are basically fresh, young dudes. Right. Awesome. But it's kind of like the Orioles situation. A lot of young guys that have never done that. The Mariners did it last year, but they're struggling right now.
That's who I'd frankly, and I don't think it's going to happen, but I would most like to face if I'm the Rays, because they do have the lowest team OPS of the group and the second most strikeouts in all of baseball. So that's an opportunity. And I know they've got some pop. They've got guys that have some pop for sure this year, but maybe the trop confines can keep that into bay and into check a little bit. And coming from the West Coast, maybe there's a little bit of a timing and body calculator challenge. And at some point, I don't care how young and spry and in shape you are. The grind of an MLB season ultimately catches up to you at some point. And this is a positive marker, but also a little bit of a ding for them. Suarez, Teoscar, France, Julio, they've all been posting like crazy. Like they have not had a lot of rest. You're talking 158, 157, 154, 151 games. So it might be low hanging fruit, but I would, like to see the Mariners rather those other teams, although they do have a solid rotation. But so does the Blue Jays. And you mentioned the Astros. The Astros have an aura. They have a history. They have been there, done that players. I feel like no matter what they do down the stretch of the regular season, they can kind of flip a switch and turn it on a dime in the playoffs. So that's kind of the way I look at it presently. I'm honestly not that fearful of the Rangers either. Now, if Max Scherzer comes back into the fold, then that might change the complexion a little bit. But I mean,
the Rangers have like a big flaw, which is the bullpen. So if you get into that bullpen, you have a really good shot. I gotta say, I'm gonna flip my power rankings on this. I had Blue Jays first. No, I think you've won me over. I think the Seattle Mariners make a lot of sense to wanting to face them.
Right.
We just saw what they did against the Rays for 4 games, and the Rays beat them 3 times out of 4. In a hey, we got to show up. They showed up 3 times, and they did it. So I would be very okay with flipping that and saying that they're the ones that I would most likely would like to face. But looking at the standings, there's a reason why we also feel that way. It's because they're also wanting to get a game and a half away from being in. So it doesn't look like it. Now, would you what do you think about if the Rays do face the Jays?
See,
Is that a
that's tough.
good
I mean, I'm
thing,
not
bad
saying,
thing?
oh my, I'm shaking in my boots and I'm freaked out, but the Jays have shown that they can handle and go mano a mano with the Rays, and they do have, unlike the Mariners and some other teams, they do have more of that comfort of playing in the Trop, and they know what it's like, and
Yeah.
they've had a lot of experience with that. And I know that their offense hasn't been as good as years past, but those are also some pretty impressive names that are in that lineup. And that rotation, man, I mean, 1 through 4, Bassett, Barrios, Gosman, Kikuchi, it's hard to match up with that, whether it's a 3-game or a best of 3, best of 5, best of 7 series. I mean, they do have the second best team ERA in all of baseball, and they're actually first in defensive runs saved as well. So they could really put a stop to any offensive momentum that an opposing team might have with those 4. I mean, that's about as consistent as you can get.
You gotta give props to them in the offseason that just happened, because they went in and said, what do we need? We need to improve defense, and we have a surplus of offense. Let's give away from our strength to fix one of our weaknesses. And then look at what you just said about their defensive prowess. Like, you would have never said that about them before 2023, but they saw weakness and they attacked it. Very good for the Blue Jays to have done that.
Kiermaier, Merrifield, like they made additions and moves to better themselves.
Varsho, it's
Chapman. I mean, did we even mention Chapman?
Yeah, exactly. No, it's been really, really good work from the front office there in Toronto to have done that. But yeah, I think I wouldn't be shaking in my boots either with the Blue Jays, but I would rather see the Mariners. But I think it's going to. But okay, 3 minutes left, man, or even less. Who do you think, if the Rays beat the Toronto Blue Jays and then the Astros beat the Diamondbacks, it kind of looks like the Astros would surpass the Blue Jays, and then we would be facing the Astros.
I mean, that would make me a little bit more nervous, but also excited in a way, because I feel like that could be a really fun competitive matchup as well.
Yes.
So just as a general baseball fan and baseball lover, that might be the more that'd be a series that would get more eyeballs on the television, and maybe butts in the seats, although I don't think they'll have any issue selling playoff tickets.
And prime time. Maybe the Astros get the Rays some prime time. Maybe Toronto does not get the Rays some prime time.
Right. Yeah, that's fair as well. So it'll be interesting to see. And I mean, if Alek Manoah ever gets his head on straight at 1 through 5, hard to beat that. Of course, you have to have more than 5 guys in the rotation. But I mean, yeah, they've definitely put their work in, spent their money, and built the team in a smart quality format as well. It's why the AL East is going to be dangerous for years and years to come, at least between the Blue Jays, the Orioles, and the Rays. The Yankees have some work to do, and the Red Sox certainly have some work to do as well. They got to find a new president of baseball operations. I guess they're looking at Sam Fuld. I'm hearing Pedro Martinez. It's kind of all over the place. Sam Fuld, I think that'd be more of a lateral move for him. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it can't be fun working in that organization and in that front office and in that franchise where it's like, yeah, you have to trade Mookie Betts. You can't re-sign Xander Bogaerts, but we're going to blame you for not doing those things or doing those things. Like you're going to be the fall guy regardless. So
I mean, look, I'm sure the pay was nice for Chaim and he liked the challenge, but I mean, my man, you were just set up to fail.
Basically. Yeah. But again, he had that opportunity. You can't sniff at that opportunity, and he'll be in good shape. I mean, he's such a bright baseball mind that he's going to have plenty of opportunities going forward. But it takes you almost have to have already been familiar with that culture and that presence and that ownership to do well at that job. I feel like it's not an outsider type position where you can do well, but not to go on a tangent there, but maybe Chaim comes back as a Rays assistant in some shape or form.
Yeah. What does Brian Cashman have on the Steinbrenners, man?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he's got a lot of things going on, evidently. Wow. I mean, I'm cool with it. Hey, if you want to keep making bad moves and bad decisions and throwing money at aging, injury-prone veterans,
go right ahead.
Go for it. Well, hey, we'll take your 500 below 500 seasons.
We're
cool with. I mean, I'm about to vomit if I see another Red Sox Yankees Sunday Night Baseball appearance. So anything that we can do to detract from that, I'm fine with. So
cool.
All right. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and we will talk to you on Friday.